I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is March 9th, Monday, 2026. Hope you had a good day and a good weekend. So we talked about this for a little bit now. So initially I made this video on the 23rd here. 23rd, yeah, of last month, right? And then coming up here, take out that liquidity, come and sweep these guys here, and then a bounce back. But we got that, right? And then here, I made this video on Friday showing the structure here of what I saw. And then ultimately still coming for these lows here, these guys right here. We didn't get no follow through here to come in, but again, we sold off and then bounced back up for the easy sellers from Friday, right? So that's where we're at and what we did pretty much. And take a look here. You can see recapping came up to take out those guys right there. And then we had this internal shit here. And then we gapped down. If you watch Friday's video, I told you guys about it's most likely going to gap down. Sure enough, gap down, right? And I expected that even last week we gapped down, but I mean, we didn't have no follow through then. But that was the logic, man. And then you can see here, my little projection here. I did that on a 4 hour, by the way, as you'll see here. See that? See these three guys right here? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys right there. See that? So I measured that, came down. We initially came to the 101.5, and then we gapped down and got into the 2, baby. Can't make that shit up, son, right? And then oversold here, and V-shape reversal, expansion with expansion all the way. And yo, sadly, the part of this week is now that the whole weekly range, it was 1,000 points. It's been an average of 1,000 points for at least 5 weeks now of the average weekly range, not daily range. We just hit 1,000 points now. So it's like, okay, the week's fucking over. Whatever, but beautiful buys here though. And we swept those guys. See, this is previous month here, February, and then that would be November's. I don't think this November's low though. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. So, and then I've been highlighting this weekly bullish imbalance. I had it here, and then I said, if they're going to come lower, they're going to get into this rate of liquidity, which I'm not saying it's out the picture. We'll see, but the point is that we were using this as support. Look at the body flipping over. Now take a look here. I don't want to put too much of it, but the low of last week was the 50%. We tagged that weekly. And then here you can see that we came back in, and then look at the 50%. See right here? Look to the right, look to the right, look to the right. See how we're kind of bouncing on that? That's exactly where all this support was. So I don't want to, I'll push it over in a second, but I just wanted you to see that. And then you can see this inversion here, completely engulfing it, closing. You got already understanding that we have a huge area on the overbought for the hourly, especially. So pushing up here, right? Coming back into the previous day's range, which would be Friday, obviously, right? And then they did it all in one day. So that being said here, fire. I've measured here these consecutive bearish down candles on the 15-minute, right? And then you can see 1 on 1.5 here, and then 2 to 2.5 here. To the left here of the chart, obviously the gap itself, that's the big eye opener. Number 1, number 2. Well, because it's unfair for this person that they were buying here, and then they literally just gapped down here, right? Didn't even give a chance to get back out. So higher prices was logical. If it's bullish or bearish, completely, it doesn't matter. We already took a big pool, so you expect it to come back up. And then what was I gonna say? So we have the Fridays, that lower high selling. Remember that? Beautiful, right? And then the remaining portion of Friday's opening range gap not sealed. And what's underneath that? Oh, I'm sorry, not underneath. What's above that? I have an old week gap there, plus almost to the tick, isn't it? You'll see that bearish imbalance again on the daily, which I will try to. All right, can you see it here? shit, missed it by a couple points. Right? Take a look at that. And then let me get into the video now. So fire here. So we have that understanding for the projection. We have no news today, so the Asia low is not looking, and it's the low of the day, most likely even week. It depends, but point is that the damage has already been done, and coming this low is not going to happen unless it was like, I mean, really, really, really bearish, but like, leaving this empty like that, that's just really bogus. So you have that low, daily low, which is on Wednesday. And then you have Friday's low that we just broke right through. And we also broke through here too, as well, obviously. Tuesday's low. So let's get back into the video here. Projections, you can see that. And then let me scroll over here. This was actually on a 5-minute initially. Let me go to a 5-minute because I know I don't do a good job of making sure I go on the 5-minute when I do these videos. But there is a 5-minute imbalance here. And you can see that the bodies are not even going inside it. So it's being used. We tag it there first. So this, when we get the push up, this that push up here, and then you get one more rate at 9:30. Bodies stay weak coming back inside. They missed the 50%. Notice the opening range gap is also literally the same almost levels as the current week gap. You think that's coincidence? No. So these levels are going to be very strong and used. And you could see, well, I'll get into that in a second. But the point was this, is that when we had a new phase of price, this was a consolidation. And then they came to raid the lows here. The lows were pretty equal. So you have to be aware of, obviously, the canvas of liquidity hunt, which is the top and the bottom side. In this case, it's a speaker here. You can see that clearly. That's a high, that's a low, that's a higher high, that's a lower low. This is mean reversion price action, but the agenda is sealing this, obviously getting to the easy sellers. And then again, what's funny is that we say we're bearish. We wake up and we're already bearish. We've already accomplished the situation. Now you're back to bullish. So they're constantly putting, just like when I talked about all last week's videos, we are waking up and realizing that we're already took lows out. So they're putting us on the defense or offense, whatever you want to fucking call it, and putting us on the side of counter trending, of retracing, right? We're never in expansion phases here, generally speaking, right? We're more on the retrace side. But anyways, so you take a look here. What's the 5-minute that's holding price action? I could have put it on the 15-minute right there too. You can see on the 15-minute right there. But this is a 5-minute, and then I got it down to a 1-minute as well. Let me go back to a 1-minute. Just to explain this, and you can't see it on a 1-minute really. So, but here, right here, if I was to like super refine it, I wanted you to see it on the 5-minute first, and then I want you to see this here. See, you see then the bodies are starting to get away and then they take off. That's fine, everything, because we did raid liquidity. But if you wanted to get to an ultra refined area, it would be this. And then you'll see how we tag in it, right? And then I'll get into the video. Now you have an inversion here, which is nice, and that's just a little overkill. But let me go into this. So initially choppy here once we get the range. But so look at this. So we had they're trying to get you to induce the sell initially, and then they push it and they don't take the lows out, right? See this guy right here? They don't take that guy out, all right? So that's really equal, right? So that's really equal. So what do? I'll talk about all the time. They run away first, right? Then we'll come back to it. So what do? They built liquidity to this sell side right here, selling here, and then they create these bullish higher highs and higher lows. Imbalance right there, breakout, coming right back in. 9:30 pushes up with the fake push first. This is really a dump pump profile. So, but we are getting an initial push first. So you would have thought it was a pump and dump, but the thing is, and yes, we're bearish, but the thing is that we have this objective up here. So, and who made money? It's not, we're not worried about the people recently. We're worried about all this up here, right? So, because people have been selling and winning, obviously. So, when you get this bullish candle, and it closed strong, which was good, but when you were watching it live on a seconds chart, you would see that it was phasing out first initially, kind of like weak, but okay, it's no big deal. Point is that we get this push back in here with this 933. So we pull back in and we respect the 50% initially, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. But the thing is that, and this is a breakout area here, cool, right? For it to have kept going from here, because of these lows here, it's really suspect. So waiting for price action. If you notice and you had a little more patience, you notice that you're stuck at this 25% here. The 25% is coupled with the 25% of the opening range gap. So is this next levels here quoted, right? They're all almost the same. So you'll see on the 5-minute, it's kind of respecting there too. I'll go to a 5-minute real quick. It's just so much to say, but you can see that there's no bodies here on that 5-minute candle, right? And then we wick the bottom there. So ultimately, we understand that it's a very high possibility of coming in for that liquidity, right? Which is fine here. But then you get this 936 candle. This 936, even if you bought here, this 936 should have never rushed to go through that 50% and especially close like that. See how it closed like that? So that right there is showing you that it's coming for this liquidity here. So what do? Well, I use this as the first imbalance, this 936. It's in the green. Can you use this 930? It's debatable. You could. Because of the price action, it being away from pretty much all the price action from last week and even from, this current day, it's up here. So you could use this as well, but I'm just going to use this for now. And then as you can see here that, we close on that 930 level. So we come below the 930 level and this is an inversion, right? So if you drag it out, that's more legible. You can see it. So they were really showing the idea that it was going to be buying here and then collapsed here. So once you get a closure, this is an inversion. And if you were wrong, going on the other way would be wise. But in sense, you'll see that these bullish, they become inversions. But I got this bearish one right here from the gap to the gap, and you can see that we're tagging it right there, right? So we dig in, then we get our drives here. All right, so we get our drives here. We've now swept this guy, okay? And then here with the projection, I am measuring just the up candle instead of all three, which at first I had it all three, but then I see that this was going to be used as support. I used just the one candle because that one candle is going to be that last up candle to then push down, or vice versa, last down candle push to go back up. This is your order block here. But the thing is their consecutive candles are being used. If I was to have moved it to all three, you would see that it's the negative one is skewed. It's not working. But you notice that I put it on that one candle, just bodies only, and you can see that the -1 to 1.5. Look at the 1.5. It's to the tick. Look at. I mean, it's literally like one tick below the 1.5. But the refined area of the bullish imbalance, and it's pretty much. I talk about this every day. This is, if I'm looking for a bullish move, I'm looking for a pullback into, what do we have? The trifecta here. We have liquidity that we discussed. We have the imbalance, and then we have a breakout area. Boom. See that? You could even use this guy right here. See this? So notice there's a 0.5 between this -1 and 0, but whatever. We pull back into that breakout area. See how coincidentally it's the same measurement here, but also this area price action too, right? So that's what I'm looking to pull back in for if I'm bullish and I'm buying, right? General speaking. So we get that, but is it going to sink to hell? Well, not likely with all this going on here. So again, I could draw something and then we have already done it, and then I haven't had a chance to even draw the next situation, right? Which obviously once we take these lows out, you expect it to come back up, and you can see I've already got the projections here, right? Right there, and then the -2 right there. Beautiful. Talked about that already. I even talked about that on the higher time frame. If you recall this, take a look here. Beautiful. I drew this a long time ago. If you've been watching my videos, you know, long time ago I drew that. And then look at the -1 here. So I have these. This is a daily, all consecutive blue candles here, and I did the consecutive here too with the gap. You can see the -1 here, all right, and then 1.5. But we missed that. And then this right here, this -1 here. See how we tagged that shit and we bounce right back up. Also, it's on a 23 retracement, but which can mean it's bullish from this level. Okay, the 23 is very solid for another push back up. Do I think we're going to keep pushing back up? I don't know. Maybe with the inflation situation possibly happening, they can inflate the shit back up. It's an excuse to get it back up. So we're not out the woods of being bullish. Yeah, I can say that right now. And look at me, I'm being flexible here. This is what I'm doing. I'm being flexible. I still think this should be a retracement, which I'll get back into, to be honest with you. I won't talk about that right this second, but I'll hold that thought. And then here, back to here, you'll see that this is a 1 minute, obviously a little choppy here. And then you can see we get a push all the way back up for the easy sellers. And then we push all the way back down. This is aggressive right here, closing like the way it did and came. Look at these bitches. That's why I wanted to put it back on the 5 minute. It's better. This is better on the 5 minute. Because you'll see that this price action will show you even that, hey, you know, it's a buy, right? Look at the tick right there, and then we take off. So, and then, you know, obviously looking at on the 5, you can see no bodies in here. But anyways, so we pop back up and then we come back down, and then this is a shift of structure possibly again, because this was doing this. It was pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Finale. This is the retracement only, right? This is the retracement only. And then from here, it's a high and a higher low. Then it's an internal high, higher low. As you can see, they're leading up. So some will call this even a pennant. But the thing is that, okay, even if you didn't play around with it, it's fine. Nasdaq wasn't as clean as S&P, but you can see these down candles are supporting. There's an inversion here. I didn't draw all this. But you'll see that if you didn't know what was happening yet, then you start to leak like this. See how they're pushing up slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, boom, you get a breakout, right? Boom, breaks out. See these lower highs, and then it breaks out, right? So then they're just higher lows from here. They lock the price. Wow, there's so much I can draw. There's so much I can draw. You know, let's just put it like that though. Bouncing right on top of these consecutive candles here. You have an inversion here as well. I just didn't want to draw it, to be honest. I just want you to see this. Come on. Okay. And then bounces there, body staying there. And anyways, similar with this, the 50% of this candle here, of this down candle, significant down candle. And let's do it this way. See that shit? Right above the 50%, just using the bodies there. And that's the logic, right? You can see that they're higher lows, pretty much. And then takes off here to the 25% here, to the 50, comes above it first, uses it as support, bounces in here, whatever, and then doesn't touch that breakout level. Plays around this quadrant here. Before I keep going, you can see that this down candle here is a high probability order block because it's sitting on top of that. It's on this quadrant. So we bounce right on it. We use it. We also this imbalance right here, this first 930, that it's a high probability of an inversion if it uses an inversion because it is sitting on that quadrant. So they came to take out that liquidity. And then also this inversion here. This one right here. I'm not even highlighting any of this stuff. And then whatever. So you can see that also this down candle is on that quadrant as well. So that's how you can predict and know, obviously, where your bullish imbalance or if we're going up, bullish imbalances, inversions, and order blocks are going to be located and used for high probability. And you can see here, same thing with this right here. I'm just going to fucking highlight it. What is this? The close here is 556 and a quarter. Open is 556 and a quarter. That's fine. Oh boy, come on. Let's go. I gotta go. So you'll see here, it's, high probability. Yeah, it comes outside a little bit, but boom, ticks it right there. See that? So high probability locations here. All right, top 25% comes outside the gap, plays around, shoots in. Now, this is the previous week's gap, by the way. Up here, I have it quadded as well, right? I have the thicker one for the current week, obviously, and then I have the last week's. That's last week's gap. I have it quadded where I'm still going to be using this. And then up there is obviously, as you know, right? Again, on the left side here, we got the 1 and 1.5 here, and then the 2 to 2.5 here, right? And then liquidity there, plus inefficiency in the opening range gap, and that's pretty much it, man. So what do? We come up inside the all week gap, come back to the top, boom, right to the 25%. Beautiful. Right to that 25% here, pull back into between this 25% and 50. You could, imaginary eighth in here, and then that's pretty much what this is doing. And pretty much trying to get the liquidity from the range here of the top half of this here, right? Of this range, top half, plus the liquidity of the breakout area here. Boom, breaks up. And then they're just coming down there. But here, you have it now on oversold here, right? So they've been playing around on the overbought here. And then on the one, you can see the oversold here. Initially, they sucker you here, and then comes down to an extreme here. And then now it's time to then push back up. What do they do here? They push back up. They play the 25%, playing around. You can see it, dude. I don't got to say it, but then they're nesting here, right? And then this little pullback here from this high to this low here. They pull back. We got the new 4-hour candle kicking in. So they're expanding that 4-hour, which is the 2 o'clock candle. No, they're going to keep that empty because before they take out these highs, they want to keep it in balance. In a rush, pretty much showing strength as well. So that's a logical situation with the 2 o'clock candle. You can see that this 2 o'clock candle here. This is the 2 o'clock candle right here, and you can see that there's an imbalance right there, and that's pretty much almost like your silver bullet or your first imbalance for the 2 o'clock. Your first imbalance for the 4-hour 2 o'clock candle. Why keep saying that wrong? And then it has this down candle here. You could have drawn it here too, and then that's showing you that it's going to push up from here, right? See that? And then the thing is that this high and then this pullback, as you can see, overbought to an oversold. See how shallow this little pullback is, and it's already on an oversold. Well, that's to show you that it's buying and it's a higher low. They wanted to pull back up into this guy right here, take that guy out, and then you can see that we're respecting that 50% of this. What do you call it? The hammer candle here. 50%. You can draw that out. You can see 50% tags are right there. Look at the details I'm showing you here. And then what do? Power hour, fucking. And then last macro just fucking shoots it straight up in 15 fucking minutes, you motherfuckers. Straight up. Why? Because now they're in a rush to get to these guys. They're trying to play it all smooth, like this is the lower high or whatever. And then sure enough, takes it right to that old week gap right there above last week's gap. And then that's it, man. I mean, well, what else can you say there? And then if you were watching price, it ran to the 75% first. Like you see it come right in, bounce right in that gap, pushed it up top, then to the 75. Boom. Hits the 75, and then goes right above it, bounces from that 75, that top, whatever, and then immediately hits comes outside, comes back in, and then now we're just playing around. Let's see here. So VIX automatically already coming down the whole day. In an oversold here, which was pretty dirty. But because we were pushing up so much from the previous days here. Why is oh, this is including Sunday, they separated here from Friday. So gap here, and then they're pushing down to get some of this liquidity of the breakout areas here of the VIX here. So and here's that push up at the last second, little bitches. So yeah, dollar is also coming down here, helping us with the push up. And then we had some little divergence work here. Initially, 930 had pushed up, and we made a higher high with Nas, and then they were lower highs here. That pushed us down. Once we swept, we had higher lows with Nas, and that's why the buying was a factor and an understanding. We had higher lows here, lower lows here. And then we had another divergence here and here. This little one, you can see this, right? This little one that pushed us up for that internal high, internal high. And then when we pulled back, we had another higher low at Nas. And then we had lower highs here. So obviously Nas was showing more of strength in the case. And then Dow, again, gap down, push down. I told y'all, man, from up here, bro, from 50,000 all the way down to 46,000. Clearly talking about lower lows and lower highs, and they missed short of these guys. I don't think the downside, the party's over yet, but we'll see. And then obviously when they gap down, they got to push back up into the previous days, which obviously is Friday's range. Plenty of room on the overbought here. Look how they constantly have kept the price in this bottom 75%. That's to show you weakness right there. See that? So yeah, man, the weekly range is already printed, bro. And we got CPI on Wednesday. It's going to be interesting. Here, dump pump as well. 1, 2, 3 drives. Pushes up here. Speakers out. See, Dow will do more of the speakering. And anyways, and then pushed up. Big push again for S&P. And did they take these guys out? Ooh. Oh. What's the low here? Oh my God, 6,583. The low here is 6,584 and a half. Oof, they did not, buddy. So to me, I don't know, man. It does to me. I don't think the bottom side is over unless they really use inflation as an excuse to push up. Because if you recall, I was talking about the seasonality. I talked about the 5th, 6th, somewhere around there, we were going to turn around and buy back up, right? What did they do? Well, they delayed it. And then they delayed it. And as you can see, well, you could probably see it better here. See the 5th here and the 6th. Oh, this is your V shape. And they did it on, obviously, this day. So, and they pushed it back up. Now, the thing is coming from here, it's going to be a little choppy for a while. So, these 2 days of moves were just so beautiful that, but, I can't really, comment more. If you don't have seasonality with you, it's going to be weird to talk about it right now. But, what was I going to say? So, okay. Super fucking sideways here now. Look at this. No bodies there. And then the weekly, they lift that body there. That gap is on here. The weekly gap for S&P is this gap here. So we're gonna see, are we gonna use to this week's gap and last week's gap as support to push up and be a bullish week? Right now, the week is already fucking printed. I mean, what the hell are we gonna be doing here at this point? I don't know. I'm already, I don't know. It's tough. But if I'm gonna go to just hold on. I'm gonna go to some examples in a second. Again, drives here, speakering out, pretty dirty here. Lower high, lower low. I like this. That's the internal high. These are all higher lows. And again, could have bought these, right, too. And then if last resort, slithering up, breakout, right? They came right to their sealment here and then retraced back into the lower half and took out these clear obvious liquidity. All right, let me move forward here and beautiful day here. And then I'm sorry, did I mention this? So I have this projection of this is the last move down pretty much, and then I'm using that as a projection here with just the bodies. You can see 101.5 up here, and then 2 to 2.5 up here, and then you can see 3.5 to 4. Where's the 4, buddy? Bam. See that? So that's pretty much, there's that. And then nice bounce back with NVIDIA. Again, a little bit still suspect, man. They could try to say whatever they want. But if I was them, I would just use this time to bring the market down. I mean, from all this stuff with oil and this and that. And I think, after oil just extremely shooting all the way up and them using it as an excuse, it already came back down all the way, dude, to that breakout area on oil to almost to $80 a barrel. And it's like, okay, dude, well, I mean, if we continue to see oil keep rising, then we'll be in a big bearish market. But at the same time, I would just have them use this excuse to come back down. I mean, but so if we're following with the bearish flow here, we came into the 101.5. We're coming back up into the breakout area. My next goal is to get to, and I've been talking about 23,000 level for a while. So, the next level would be this 101.5. And especially with these equal lows here like that. And then, and I'm going to say that we're in a similar situation like this. Like look at the February 27th of 2025. We came down, we took out those lows, right? And then as you see, February 28th, this is a Friday, happened to be, pushes back up, and then Monday pushes up inside that daily imbalance. But this was the lower low, and then it came up for the lower high, and then it continued as a bearish candle. And then you made a new lower low. You can see this, right? This little area that I'm highlighting right here, right? You see that? So that we could slowly kind of retrace. Right now, this is kind of like, this is pretty strong, but we'd have to see a nice bearish Tuesday. I'm expecting. And then you can follow this flow. If I was to bring up 22, and that's why I said in Friday's video, go back test 25 and 22. This is kind of like the situation that we're in. Kind of like this, right? Where we had these lows and then we broke it. See this stupid ass candle right here? Look at this candle. Here's a perfect example here, right? The January 10th of 2022. That's also a Monday, right? So the Monday it pushed down and it closed all the way back up as a reversal candle. But and then then look at Tuesday. And then Wednesday pushed up to get the easy sellers because we knew it was selling at that time too, right? And then then Thursday came down and Friday and it just stayed in the range. And then the following week continued. What was the whole point of it retracing? So I feel like we're in this situation too. And I have talked about this a couple times already on this channel. So that I expected that price action to have already happened like even here. I even said that even here. And what did they do? They just time distortion and wasted more time for the people who are impatient, right? Because that should have already rolled over this way here, most likely, right? But anyways, so that's what I'm saying there. And I don't really know what else I could say, but I mean, it is on the 23. So if they use it for an excuse to clean all this up, and then by the time it comes back, people are gonna be like, "Oh man, that shit, man, I'm never selling again, bro." And then, but I really don't see it going back up right now. It just doesn't make sense for me. I'm gonna go back to the projection here, and I want to be done. And I'm really tired of making long videos, but I don't think people want to watch that long videos, man. And I'm sorry, but okay. So we finally broke out of these ranges here. Remember the quads? So before I delete them, you can see that was that 50%. We kind of pushed up real close, and we used that daily. Remember that daily bearish imbalance? So it's still there. It's still in control of price right now. So let's be very clear. It's in control, and I'm gonna leave it on the chart. And then once we get bearish, I want to see us come underneath this bullish weekly, and then you see that we use it. I'm gonna move it over for a quick second. You can see that the 50%, we were bouncing on the top of that, right? And this was also more of a reason why to stay bullish, to push back up. But let me push this back. I don't want this in the way right now. But now we're on overbought here, so it's like, okay. And then I want to really see the daily. I want to see the weekly come to an oversold. I really do. The last time we had an oversold on the weekly was obviously April 7th, and then or whenever that was, yeah. And then I want to see. Well, it was April 7th, yeah. But I want to see us come back. So now we're on the 50 on the weekly. So that's a good bounce from here. It really could. But I mean, if I'm watching structure, we're making a lower high right now, and then we're gonna roll over. That's what I think. I mean, and if we do, we want to go back underneath this and use this as resistance. So let me skip let me go to the drawing and understanding that from here, let's just say that we don't have all this chaos going on, and we get this pullback that we're getting, which is very typical. This is actually pretty normal, to be honest. It's the spring. The spring is always generally going to pull it back first, and then we're going to go back up, and then take its time going up. Now I'm going to draw this here, okay? So this is what? Today's the 9th. So we're getting that V-shaped move. That's what it shows on the 5th and 6th on March. In the first 10 days, the middle of the first 10 days, 5th and 6th, it does this. So then so the 5 years was more extreme, which is what we're seeing as we pushed below. Again, if it's a normal, I'm going to say this again. If it's a normal environment here, okay, it ain't nothing normal about our environment, but if it's a normal seasonality and we're just playing with this shit, it's kind of like one of these things where, you do this, and then, you pull back here, and then it's like, gone, right? And that's going to be like the rest of the month type of shit, right? So that's why it can look very choppy. That's the 5 year. All right. I'm going to do now the 15 and 30 year, which is, it's not as crazy. It's pretty much, it's pretty much like this. It's nothing crazy. Okay. All right. Now that I've done that, okay. So I did this for the bullish scenarios, right? Without having a big situation. If we're bearish, and we're following a different flow, obviously, you know where I'm going with this. I mean, done. Just done. Right. So you'll be able to see what you're going to use in this time situation coming up as we go along. But let me go back to this real quick. As you see the ranges, we came outside the range and then pulled back in. I'm gonna delete these. I'm gonna delete these now because we already came outside of them. And getting out of the range, it should show direction as well, which is being bearish. We'll see. But right now, that daily bearish imbalance is in control. Obviously, if we come any lower, you know what the target is right here. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I just forgot. Fuck me. I just don't even want to see them come above this here. And then look at look at Friday's first imbalance. This purple, this blue, this green that I'm highlighting. See that shit? Notice how we sold right from it on Friday when it closed. So it ended up closing. You see that? You can't make this shit up, dude. Look at this. Look. This is the first imbalance in the green. This isn't. Remember this is that old weak gap that I've been using. I don't think I'm gonna. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it right now. But that would also be a factor of coming down for using it as resistance. I don't really need it in that sense, even though it is a gap. If we come below it, I'm going to use that as resistance. But we have this current week gap and last week's gap. I don't really need this gap right now, and it's to be honest, it's a little too much overkill. I think I don't need it. I'm actually going to delete it, only because of the noise, right? But I've been using it all this time, so we have a perfect. This is beautiful right now with the current week gap and that last week's gap. That's fine. But notice how we that first imbalance of Friday here. Look at how we sold right there. We take right off from it out of all the places, right? So that's a command, right? So that's saying, okay, we're gonna make this first imbalance on Friday first. We're gonna push up, get to the previous first imbalances, which would have been Monday or Wednesday. I'm sorry, of that week, last week, and then we're gonna come and we're gonna close here. It's telling itself. We're going to set this level here, and we're going to come back to it and reference it. We're going to break through it. So when it's pushing up here, notice where it is. So you think it came back up because of the current week gap, but it could be all along just because of this Friday first imbalance being already laid out. So but it's for us, it's just confluence, and this is a nice target as well, isn't it? But anyways. Look how we bounce right on top of this imbalance. See that inversion right here of the first imbalance that I drew there? Look how we bounce right on top of that. Beautiful. Look at that. All right, I said enough, and I'm fucked, man. 41 minutes. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know, but I drew the options, right, and then I drew the real bearish scenario. Who else is doing this days in advance, man? I don't know what else I can say, but you guys take care. God bless.